So, I'm a big Marvel fan, and I know that you are too. And on the Disney Plus, they came up with that series, What If? Well, I started thinking about what ifs using Steeler history and what it would look like, modern day. Like, what would the narrative be right now? And the very first thing that I want to talk about is Jerome Bettis against the Indianapolis Colts to seal the game. To it was 2005, um, on the goal line, and Bettis was we were going to close out the game.
The Colts playoff game.
Yeah, Colts playoff game. We was about divisional. We were about to close out the game, and you guys remember Bettis
Mm-hmm.
fumbled, right? And the Colts they recovered it, and thankfully Ben made a tackle. We got back quick and made the tackle and literally saved the game, which actually, long story short, propelled us to the Super Bowl win. But what if that fumble turned into a Steeler loss? What would
Mm.
Jerome Bettis's legacy look like? And what would Bill Cowher's legacy look like if he never won the Super Bowl because of that, and Bettis retires, and that's his last play? Is he the NFL's version of Bill Buckner?
That is a great question. I'm going to say Bettis is not a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Nope.
I still think he would eventually get in from
Right?
career accomplishments.
Right? I think it'd be a whole lot harder for him to get in. I mean, I know he had the
It,
yards,
yeah.
but if that's like your last, like imagine if that was like his the last impression that you got for the bus.
Would you have come back for one more year as a backup just so that's not your last play?
I don't know. Is
Here's
he?
the
Because do you remember? They used to show him walking up the steps, like in the like before, like on Wednesday. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
They would show him
Mhm.
walking up the steps, and he could barely even get up the steps.
Yeah.
I don't think he had anything left. I think that would have been the end of it. Oh my gosh! And then
Yeah.
Cowher, and then
Cowher, I'm telling you right now, Cowher would not be in the Hall of Fame.
no, and
No.
remember the next year he was a lame duck.
Yeah, I mean, I get a lot of it was Ben had the motorcycle accident, but it was because Cowher's last play he coached was Ben hit Santonio in overtime to beat the Bengals to finish 8-8.
Right. So what would Cowher's legacy look like now?
So I still think he would have retired because I think part of the reason Cowher retired because of his then wife's health issues.
Yep.
So I still think he walks away. I think that Cowher is not in the Hall of Fame, but he would have came back after a few years off to try to chase that Super Bowl.
I'm with you.
He
Now
may have
is
taken
the
he may have taken that Jets job or whatever he was
yeah,
close to taking.
yeah.
That he would have taken that job to try to keep chasing that ring. And this Mike T thing would be a whole lot different.
You took the words right out of my mouth, bro.
Would Mike D have won with Cowher's players? Bullshit.
Nah.
Nah.
Mike T would have did what Cowher wasn't able to do. It would have been a whole different narrative. Tomlin would have been on such a pedestal. He
Mhm.
should be on a pedestal, in my opinion, anyways. Like,
I
at
agree.
the end of the day,
Just
like,
because I'm more acceptable of moving on from him doesn't mean I'm not
correct.
decreasing my appreciation for him. But yeah,
Absolutely.
so my two things would be that would be Bettis is not a first ballot Hall of Famer, and Cowher doesn't make it unless he would have went on and won a Super Bowl with someone else.
Absolutely. I was thinking the same thing. I was like, oh my gosh.
The
Like,
narrative in with Cowher in Pittsburgh would have changed dramatically.
oh my gosh. And
One tackle.
let me tell you, they were just as rabid for Bill Cowher
Yeah.
as they are for Mike Tomlin right now.
Yep. It
That's
would.
the one thing about Yinzers. Yinzers are never satisfied. It don't matter who the OC is, the DC, the
Nope.
kicker, with the exception of Chris Boswell and Gary Anderson. Those are two dudes that everybody will be like, they'll be forever in infamy, right? But other than that, bro, everybody else, you can, dude, they was ready to get rid of Ben after the motorcycle accident, after the other stuff, the
Okay.
Georgia stuff, like all of that.
So not only would Ben, I'm sorry, not only would Cowher and Bettis not make the Hall of Fame, you are now going to elevate Peyton Manning probably even higher.
Yeah.
You're telling me Peyton Manning wouldn't have went and beat
Yeah.
Jake Plummer? He
Yeah.
wouldn't
Oh
have
my
went on
gosh.
and beat Matt Hasselbeck? No, great. I'm not taking away from what the Steelers did. I'm just saying Peyton Manning would have done some things and he would have won another Super Bowl. And then a lot of trickle-down effects, not just with the Steelers, but with the
I've been
Colts.
back to back.
They could have went back to back. That's
Colts would
correct.
have been back to back chip. I think they'd have went back to back chips. Tony Dungy's his projection he'd be so much greater than what he is. I think he's underrated to begin with,
Oh yeah, I
Dungy.
agree. I
But
agree.
if he won back to back and created a little dynasty with the Colts, bro, oh my gosh, dude.
So if you guys are, if you're watching this on the YouTubes, man, put some comments down below about what would have happened. What if
What if?
Ben doesn't make that tackle? What would have happened?
Yes.
That's something to think about.
Yeah.
You know what's funny is I'm probably going to continue to think about it, and I'll probably post more shit on the Twitters or everything about. You know what? This also would have happened too.
Yeah. I wonder if AI could help us like reenact it. You know what I'm saying? Like
Oh,
have Grok reenact Bettis
listen,
fumble and then Harper score the tutty?
listen. Hines Ward's not an MVP, Super Bowl
No,
MVP. Randall
no.
Well doesn't have his moment throwing the ball. You know,
Fast Willie ain't
Fast
going
Willie, mate.
75 on a counter.
Who knows what the hell would have happened to Fast Willie?
Now,
No.
let me ask you a question. Do you think they would have that Cowher would have because he was a lame duck? Do you think that they would have extended him for 2 or 3 more years? And the reason why I say that is because the way that they're handling Tomlin right now. But it
I
was the
don't know.
Cowher. It was K Cowher I think that was the thing that really.
If maybe the Roonies would have accepted have done that. My thing is we don't know when Kay Cowher was diagnosed with her health issues or not.
Correct. Yeah.
So if
yeah.
it was like early on, maybe Cowher would have. And again, to your point about with the Roonies being loyal,
Yes.
they probably may have extended it to him, but he might have said, "Let me wait for a minute," or maybe they extended him, but he still leaves because of the health issues.
Yeah.
To retire, you know what I mean? So